Hello students, welcome to a new grammar lesson which is direct and indirect speech. First of all, let us observe the sentences which are given here. He said, comma, open inverted commas, I am playing. Full stop and the inverted commas are closed. He said that he was playing. Now let us look at a few more sentences. She said, comma, open inverted commas, I am painting. Now, how can we say that in another method or manner? She said that she was painting. A third sentence. He said, comma, I did this exercise last night. So, how can we say that in a different way? He said that he had done that exercise the previous night. The inspector said, comma, open inverted commas, I am glad to be with you today. Full stop and close the inverted commas. Now the same sentence which is given above is said in a different manner. The inspector said that he was glad to be with me that day. Now, so children, what changes did you notice in those sentences that we saw just now? Well, first of all, in the first sentence we had commas and we had open inverted commas, right? But the second sentence, the idea was the same, but what did we see there? We saw that the commas were omitted, and we also saw that the word that was used and pronouns were changed. Now, a speaker's words can be reported in two ways. First of all, we can say that in direct speech. Direct speech is the exact words of the speaker are written in inverted commas. For example, the teacher said to Rajesh, comma, open inverted commas. Now, what is the teacher telling Rajesh? You have a bright future, okay? So, these are the exact words of the teacher spoken. Whatever she said, that is written in inverted commas. And then, there's another way of saying what the teacher said, and that is said to be indirect speech. What the speaker has said without using the exact words of the speaker, that means we do not use the words in quotation marks, that means in inverted commas, but we say it in in another manner. The teacher told Rajesh that he had a bright future. So there are two ways of speaking. Like, one is whatever person said is given exactly in inverted commas, and then if we don't want to do that all the time, then we say those words in our own words, and that is the gist of the sentence is given, and that is said to be indirect speech. So what does it involve? First of all, it involves a change of tense. When we change from direct speech to indirect speech, we need to change the tense. If the reporting verb in the direct speech statement is in the present tense or in the future tense, then it remains the same in the indirect speech too. That is, there is no change in the tense in the inverted, whatever is given in quotation marks. Now I'll give you an example. My friends say. Now, say is the reporting verb. Now, this you have to first of all identify the tense. Now, say is simple present tense. So, it is present tense, right? So, what did my friend say? He is very handsome. So, now because the word say is called the reporting verb, when we change direct speech into indirect speech, how do we write it? My friends say that. We will write that same sentence in the same manner. There is no change absolutely. My friends say that he is very handsome. Now the second sentence. Now in this second sentence, we will see that the reporting verb is not present tense, but it is future tense. My granny will say, you need to eat well. Granny is grandmother, right? My granny will say, and will say is the reporting verb, but the reporting verb is in the future tense. So now this is one rule you must keep in mind. Whenever the reporting verb is in the present tense or in the future tense, Then when we change from direct to indirect speech, the words in quotation marks, that means whatever is in inverted commas is called, it is said to be in quotation marks. So you need to eat well remains the same. My granny will say that, and we have to add this word that. So my granny will say that you need to eat well. The next. Now, if the reporting verb is in the past tense in the direct speech statement, then the verbs within the inverted commas will undergo changes in the indirect speech statements. Now, what kind of changes will we make? This is what you have to remember. If the reporting verb is in the present or in the future, there will be no change in what is said in quotation marks. But if the reporting verb is in the past tense, this is extremely important for you to remember. If the reporting verb is in the past tense, then whatever's in inverted commas or whatever's in quotation marks, suppose it is in the simple present tense, then it will change to the corresponding past tense. If it is simple present, it becomes simple past. If it is present continuous, it becomes past continuous. If it is present perfect, it becomes past perfect. That means whatever the tense of the verb is in the direct speech, it will change to the corresponding. If it is present tense, it becomes the same thing in the past tense. For example, simple present tense becomes simple past tense. Now the example that we have here is, the girl said the flower is pretty. Now the girl said, the reporting verb is past tense. Now what is the verb in the reported in the direct speech? The flower is pretty. That is simple present tense, right? So in the indirect speech, what do we write? The girl said that the flower was pretty. Because it's simple present, it becomes simple past. Now the next example, present continuous becomes past continuous. The example that we have here is, the old man said the rain is falling very heavily. So said is the reporting verb. Reporting verb is in the past tense. Now what is the verb in quotation marks? The rain is falling. That means present continuous. So we have to change that to past continuous. The old man said, we have to add that. The old man said that the rain was falling very heavily. Then the next sentence, present perfect changes to past perfect. Now the example that we have here is, the principal said all the students have passed. Now what is the reporting verb? Said. Said is past tense, so the rule applies. Okay, so the principal said that all the students, since it is present perfect, have passed, it will change to past perfect. The principal said that all the students had passed. Now we have finished with the present tense, right children? Simple present changes to simple past, present continuous changes to past continuous, present perfect changes to past perfect. But if we have simple past in the direct speech, what will it become in the indirect speech? Well, it will become past perfect. So present perfect changes to past perfect. Simple past also changes to past perfect. Now let us look at one example. Rohan said Sheetal arrived yesterday. Now Rohan said that Sheetal had arrived yesterday. And there is another option for you. If there is simple past, you can make it past perfect, or you can keep it as simple past. So that is your choice. You have to see which fits better. Both are right. Now verb modals. Now modal verbs change into their past forms. Like what are the verb modals? Modals are verbs that indicate the mood or the attitude of the speaker, and the most common verb modals are can, could, will, would, shall, should, ought to, might, dare. All these are verb modals. What do they indicate? They indicate the mood or the attitude of the speaker. So, and they change. So whenever you have verb modals in the direct speech, it changes into the past form. Now the example that we have here is, he said she can dance. So the indirect speech, he said that she could dance. That changes, can changes to could. Then, now the next rule that we go to is personal pronouns change according to the SON formula, the SON formula. Now, what is first person? First person, if the first person, it changes according to the subject. If the second person is there. Now, what is first person? I and we are first person. What is second person? You in the singular and you in the plural. And what is third person? Third person singular is he, she, it, and third person plural is they. So now if you have the first person in the subject and the second person in the object, the third person, there is no change. Now we will understand this formula in the sentences that are given below. Now if the subject of the quoted words is in the first person, then it will change according to the subject of the reported verb. Now for example, he said to me, I like coffee. Okay, so what is the subject? The subject is I, right? That is the first person. So he said to me, I like coffee. So the sentence in the indirect speech will change according to that. Now always remember, if it is when we say he said, then the answer you have to write he said. But if there are two people, he said to me, or the teacher said to me, or my mother said to me, whenever it is two people, like he said to me, then you will have to write he told me. The teacher said to the student, then you will say the teacher told the student. So when you have two different people before the direct speech, then you must change said to told. Now here he said to me, so he told me that he liked coffee. Okay, now if the subject of the quoted words is in the second person, now what is the quoted words which is in quotation marks, which is in inverted commas, right? He said to me. Now what is that? You is in the second person, right? So what will you change that to? You will change that according to the object of the reporting verb. That now what is the object of the reporting verb? He said to me. So he told me that I looked happy. So it will change according to me. So I and me are one and the same person. Then if the subject of the quoted words is in the third person, now what is third person? He, she or it, right? Here we can see he said to me, she. Now she becomes third person. She has already left. Now this is present perfect. It will become past perfect. So he told me, he told here, but you have to write he told me that she had already left. So how do we use the SON formula? If in the quoted in quotation marks, if we have first person, then it will change according to the subject. Correct? Subject is he. And if it is in the second person, then it will change according to the object, according to me. And if it is in the third person, then there will be no change. She will remain she, right? So this is the formula that you must remember regarding personal pronouns. You must revise your personal pronouns very carefully. Now, subject. This is, now the examples are given further. Subject is equal to first person. I said I want to consult my parents. Now I say, I is one person, right? First. So I said that I wanted. It is simple present. Want is simple present. So it becomes simple past. I said that I wanted to consult my parents. Then another example. You said I want to consult my parents. Like you are saying that you're talking about me, right? So it changes according to you. You said that you wanted to consult your parents. And then she. Now in the first sentence we have first person. In the second sentence we have second person. And in the third sentence we have third person. She said I want to consult my parents. So it will change according to that. She said that she wanted to consult her parents. So according to the subject, it changes according to the subject. Then the next sentence. A set of examples are objects. It changes according to the second person. Anil said to me, your parents are waiting for you. Anil told me. Now me is the object, right? Anil told me that my parents were waiting for me. My parents will wait for me. Then Anil said to you. Now it changes according to you. Anil said to you, your parents are waiting for you. So Anil told you that your parents were waiting for you. It will change according to the object. Anil said to him. Him is third person. Anil said to him, your parents are waiting for you. Anil told him that his parents were waiting. So it will change according to me, according to you, and according to him in these three sentences. Then the next one. We will look at the next slide. Now, if it is in the third person, now here there are two people. I said to you. So I told you, when you have two, then you have to say told. So I said to you, he should be trusted. I told you that he should be trusted. So he is a third person. He, she or it. So that does not change. It remains the same. I told you that he should be trusted. She said that she is looking for a job. So she said that she was looking for a job. This is present continuous. It will change to past continuous. Then the next one. Now we go to the next slide. Now, when it comes to change of adverbs, what do? Whenever we have adverbs of time and place and also demonstratives, this, that, these, those, all the words indicating nearness will change to words indicating distance. Now, for example, you must read and learn this whole list very nicely. This changes to that. Today changes to that day. These changes to those. Now changes to then. Here changes to there. Tomorrow changes to the following day or the next day. Yesterday changes to the previous day or the day before. And tonight changes to that night. Then we go to the next slide. Now, change of adverbs. How do we change it in the sentences? You saw it in a table, in a whole list. Now we will see how to change it in the sentence. He said, I shall discuss this matter next week. Now, he said that, we have to add that, right? When we have to do away with the comma, the inverted commas. So, how will we say that? He said, I shall discuss. Then it becomes shall will, instead of should it becomes would. He said that he would discuss. Now this will become that. So that he would discuss that matter the following week. Next week will become the following week. Then she said again, we shifted to this house 2 weeks ago. So we shifted. This is past tense, right? So it will become past perfect. She said that they had shifted to that. This house will become that house. And 2 weeks ago. That ago will change to before. So she said that they had shifted to that house 2 weeks before. Now, what will we do when we come to interrogative sentences? Now, one thing, children, you have to remember that everything when we change from direct to indirect speech, if there is a statement, that will remain a statement. If we have a question, that will also become a statement. And if we have an exclamatory sentence, that will also become a statement. If we have an imperative sentence, that will also become a statement. Now in active passive, what happens? A question remains a question. So do not confuse between active and passive and direct and indirect speech. You have to remember, because if somebody is asking a question, when you're saying it in your own words, then it becomes what does it become? It becomes a sentence. When you are exclaiming, somebody is exclaiming, but when you're saying it in your own words, it becomes a sentence. So when we change from direct to indirect speech or reported speech, then everything, whether it is a assertive sentence, whether it's exclamatory, imperative or interrogative, everything changes into a sentence. It becomes a statement. So now we will see what are the different kinds of interrogative sentences, who, where and what and how do they change. Well, a question is changed into a statement. A question does not remain a question. You have to change it into a statement. Now how will we do that? If in direct speech you have a yes or no question, right? Suppose you're asking somebody, is it raining heavily, and somebody says yes. Or are you feeling hot? No, I'm not feeling hot. So if it's a yes or a no type of question, then the reporting verb is changed according it's changed into asked or inquired, and after that you will add if or whether. So these are the two things for you to remember. When you're changing a question that is a yes or a no type of question, if you're changing it into indirect speech, then remember, first either use the word ask or inquired, and after that you have to use either of the two. You use if or whether. Now how did we see that in an example? Over here it is, she said, are you writing a poem? She asked me. That means she is talking to somebody, right? So she asked me whether I was writing a poem. Okay, so that question changes into a statement. I said to him, do you know when she will go home? I asked him if or whether. Okay, so I asked him if he knew when she would go home. Okay, so then we change this according to the rule. Now in case of a question word like who, how, where, now these are all questions that are not yes or no type of questions. So the same word is used to introduce the reported speech. So when do we have the same word used? When it is who, how, where. For example, where do you live? She asked me. So how will I change that into reported speech? I will say she asked me where I lived. Okay, so we are changing the question into a statement. Then he asked, how do you write poems? He asked me how I wrote poems. Then now we have seen about interrogative sentences. Now we will go to imperative sentences. Now first of all, what are imperative sentences? Now when you have a request, when you have a command, when you have an order, or you're giving some advice, when you're requesting someone, you're giving some advice, or you're giving an order or a command, then it is called an imperative sentence. Now in imperative sentences, the reporting verb is changed into, like instead of saying said or asked, what do? We'll say either asked, advised or requested, okay, or commanded. We can also write it like that. You can say he asked, he advised, he requested, or he commanded, or he ordered. And the tense remains the same. And the verb is put in the infinitive. Now what is the infinitive? The infinitive is the to form of the verb, like to walk, to run, to jump, to think, to play. So whatever verb is there, when you add a to before it, it becomes an infinitive. The first example that is there, I said, take your seat. Okay, so I'm giving him some advice. I asked him to take it. So how will I change that? It becomes, I asked him to take his seat. You're using the infinitive form of the verb. He said, give me some food, please. So he's saying, now whenever you see the word please, that becomes a request. So he requested me to give him some food, or he requested me politely to give him some food. Then now we come to exclamatory sentences. Now you have to remember that suppose it is like hurrah or bravo, or like that is joy. Now suppose it is alas or oh, then you have to say he exclaimed with sorrow. So whenever there's a exclamation showing some strong feeling, if it is joy or sorrow, you have to do away with the exclamation and you have to make that into a statement. Now, in exclamatory sentences, the reporting verb is changed into exclaimed with joy, exclaimed with sorrow, exclaimed with anger, exclaimed with surprise, etc. So you have to, instead of using the words alas, ah, bravo, ouch, all these words, you have to remove those words and use exclaim the joy, exclaim the sorrow, exclaim the surprise, and so on. Now the example given here is, he said, how beautiful a place. He exclaimed with joy that it was a very beautiful place. Okay, so instead of how, we are using the word very, and it is happiness. So he exclaimed with joy. The next sentence, Rohan said, alas, his father died. So Rohan exclaimed with sorrow that his father was dead. Okay, then the next sentence. Okay, so let us check what we have learnt. Now children, I want you to remember. Now, as a small recap, first of all, what all did we see? We saw that there are two ways of reporting speech. Like, you can say something in direct speech, whatever the person is talking, and you can say that also in your own words, and that is said to be indirect speech. Like, for example, you're going to school and the teacher says something. The teacher says we are going on a picnic, or the teacher says we are going to have exams on so and so day. So what do? When you go home, you tell your mummy, the teacher said so and so. The teacher said we are going on a picnic. So you don't say the exact words of the teacher, but you report that in your own words, and that is said to be reported speech. Okay, it is called indirect narration, it is called reported speech, and whatever you are saying, you say that in your own words, but you have to follow certain rules. When the reporting verb is in the present tense or in the future tense, then whatever is in inverted commas, then the tense does not change. The only changes that take place is when the reporting verb is in the past tense. Then we saw, what did we see? We saw about pronouns, change of pronouns, and we also saw change of tenses. When the reporting verb is in the past tense, then the reported speech, like whatever is in inverted commas, that from simple present it becomes simple past, present continuous changes to past continuous, present perfect changes to past perfect, but if it is simple past, it becomes past perfect. Okay, so these are the changes that you have to make, and all the adverbs indicating nearness will change to adverbs indicating distance. This will become that, these will become those. Okay, today will become that day. So all these changes will take place. Then when we look at interrogative sentences, imperative sentences, and exclamatory sentences, you have to keep in mind that all these will become statements. Questions will not remain questions, but they will change. Imperative sentences will also change, and exclamatory sentences will also change according to the rules that I have told you. Now, changing this into indirect speech. Now, this is what you have to do yourselves, but I just do it orally with you. The air hostess said, the hijackers tried to frighten the passengers. The air hostess said that the hijackers tried is past tense, so it changes to past perfect, that the hijackers had tried to frighten the passengers. The captain said to his men, stand at ease. The captain commanded his men or ordered his men to stand at ease. Here we will use the infinitive of the verb. Then she said to the wizard, do you believe in ghosts? This is an interrogative sentence, right? So here she is asking a question. So we will say, she asked the wizard. Then we have to use if or whether, no? So she asked the wizard if he believed or whether he believed in ghosts. Then the principal will say, rules have to be followed at any cost. Now, children, here is a trap. Now, will say is what? It is future tense. So when you have future tense, then whatever is in inverted commas, the tense does not change. Remember that for present tense and for future tense. The principal will say that rules have to be, so we keep it the same. The principal will say that the rules have to be followed at any cost. Then the last one, the boys said, "Hurrah, our team won." Now here it is an exclamatory sentence, so we will change that to a statement. The boys exclaimed with joy that our will become that their team had won. This past tense, so it changes to past perfect. Now this is an extremely important topic. If you understand this topic well, children, it is important right from the 8th standard till the 12th standard. If you understand and master this topic well, then it will help you to get marks easily, and it will also help you to put things in your own words. Whatever another person speaks, it will help you to understand the rules for writing it in your own words. So if you make sure to go through this lesson several times, and do it part by part till you have mastered this whole chapter well, because it is very, very important right up to the 12th standard. So do not overlook this chapter. Make sure you understand it thoroughly, and in case you have any doubts, then you can call up and ask me if you have any doubts, right? So I hope you have understood, and I will also be giving you a PDF with exercises for you to solve. So kindly go through the video several times, think about what I have said, and apply that to the exercises that will follow after this lesson. So thank you and have a nice day.